tells me that it went live and it didn't. Hmm. I'm curious. Let's see. Is this one? Let's see if this one has sound. Okay. And how about this one? Streaming. Yeah. Streaming in a nutshell. Alright. Let's see if this one has sound now. Yep. Okay. I don't know. Something messed up there. All good. All things considered. Alright, that should be working now. Let me just change this up. Alright. Cool. There's some things that I would like that probably already somebody invented what I'm thinking about, but there should be like a software where you could like make all this windows work together so you don't have to like set it up. uh, Probably already somebody did it. I'm just thinking that it doesn't exist. We're gonna try to do another shot for this. mm, Wonder where can I, there you go. That's the shot I need. Give me a second. All right. So if you wanna see the way I started this drawing, you can check it out on my YouTube channel. It's already uploaded there. Um, I've been going back and forth about if I'm going to continue to do one drawing per day, or like in this case I started yesterday but didn't get to render it the same day. Uh, but we'll see. I'll see how that works out. Bow, 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 bow. So when it comes to rendering, I don't know how many people are watching that might be interested in this sort of thing. Uh, Meaning like the actual technicals of what I'm doing. Um, Let me check something real quick. That's not too bad. Anyhow, um, when you're doing color, you wanna use like the lightest color to start the shading on the darkest area. That's like if you're using something that you cannot remove, like this, for example, because that gives you more control. If you mess up, it's on the darkest point of the drawing and or the painting, and either way you're gonna like there's in this case this picture has one spot where is the darkest point in the whole image, like the interior of the mouth of the animal. I don't like this viewer. Let me see if I can open it with the other one. Open with ACDC. If you haven't tried ACDC, I recommend it. I doubt my modeling teacher would see my streams, but he was the one who introduced me to this viewer. It's really cool. You can set it so it's always on top of all the other windows. It has a paid version, but they also have the free version, which is I apologize, but that's that's what I use. Um, and I like that you have like all this control over it. So this would be the darkest spot on the image, and maybe the eye, like this part of the eye. So you can start either or. Uh, the eye is a little bit more like if you mess up the eye, then you can have sort of a, I don't know, start over, or you're gonna have to fix it. But usually, in reality, a lot of people start by focusing on the eyes, because once you get that right, the rest of the image should should go well if you know what you're doing well enough, if it makes sense. But yeah, you should start. What I was trying to get to is that you take the darkest point in the image and you reference that to all the shadows on the image. So the the mouth, this area of the mouth is darker than this area of the cheek of the animal. Oh, good to know. I'm Venezuelan, as you can see on my deck of cards. Uh, what part of Brazil are you from? I went to Brazil when I was like, I don't know, 5 years old or something, like across the border for I don't know. There's a really famous area of Venezuela that has really beautiful landscapes. La Gran Sabana, the Great Plains, and we did a trip when I was little to that place, and part of the trip was getting to the border between Venezuela and Brazil, and we went across and stayed. I think it was for a night or something. I think it was near Christmas or something. That's 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 the only time I've been to Brazil. What? I don't know what is that. I'm looking it up because I'm lost. Eu não sei falar muita coisa em inglês. Uh, I I understood part of what you said, but not all of it. Eu não sei falar muita coisa em inglês. Não, mas você tem como traduzir? Let me check. Do I have a way to translate? Que si tengo manera de traducir? I can. I'm a little bit lost. Yeah, I'm a little bit lost. Eh, I said, yo soy de Venezuela y estuve una vez en Brasil, creo que fue un día, eh, algo así, hace muchos años, cuando tenía como 5 años. Well, hopefully that that's good enough because I don't know Portuguese. Um, at least not that much. I can sort of, kinda understand certain things. Em, lo que estaba preguntando es que de qué parte de Brasil eres. What I was asking is uh, which part of Brazil you're from. Okay, bye. Yeah, well, nothing I can do about that. I don't know how to speak Portuguese. Um, would be cool if that would be that would be an actual really good use for AI that you could like I could be talking in whatever language and you choose like whoever's watching can choose the language and they can see on the language of their preference. That'll be really good, I think. Dude, the tongue of this animal, it seems ew. Like, oh my goodness. Oh, I didn't mention this yesterday, but these creatures, I'm not sure if what I'm about to see is actually that what they produce, but it seems like they sweat blood for whatever reason. It's super weird. Whatever they excrete out of the skin is blood. Like I'm not sure. I haven't checked if that's like scientifically it's actually blood. Uh, but I can attest to the fact that they do sweat something that looks like blood because I saw one years ago on a zoo. It was really weird to see. Also, another thing for doing shadows, working on shadows, is if you squint your eyes, you can actually check the contrast on on the on the image. Yeah, it's kind of disgusting to see actually. Like I guess if they're on water, you'll notice. But the one I saw spent part of the time outside, and you were able to get really close, and you could see like it's this is kind of it creates a little bit of repulsion, at least for me. But they're really interesting though. At the same time, an oily secretion. I didn't know that. The more you know. I really thought it was like are they sweating blood? What the heck? So weird. this one. Come on. I really don't like when it starts acting randomly. Like one of the reasons I chose a pen is that it's way more controlled what you can do, but every now and then it decides to act up. I think it's because of the consistency of the pen, of the ink on the pen rather. So that's something I didn't want to do. It was just that that's what it decided to do. Let's see. I'm going to try this one. Oh, that's interesting. And it makes sense. I know, like elephants, they use sand. They throw sand over themselves, and there's a lot of creatures that do that. They get on the ground and they get sort of this. They also do it with mud. They get in the mud, so that way they're protected from the sun, which is really interesting because there's some people I think in Africa that also do the same thing. The only the only danger is if you get into some contaminated mud with some form of, I don't know, weird bacteria or something. But those creatures are probably well adapted to that, so they won't have that problem. And as for humans in those areas, they're probably also well adapted to the environment there. And it depends. We're still we create the things that allow us to live in different environments for the most part. So I like how crazy I this thing looks, like looking outwards. I made a mistake here. The eye doesn't, because it does like a whole thing there. Yeah, a little bit better. Yeah, yeah. That thing looks crazy. And if another thing that I kind of remember about them is that they sharpen. Am I good at drawing? I've been drawing for like, um, I would say like all my life, but that wouldn't be accurate because I didn't draw ever since I was born. Uh, I lost what I was saying. Oh, the teeth on these creatures, I think it's similar to uh, well, all rodents have the same thing, but I was thinking of the ones that make the beavers. Beavers. That's the word I was looking for. Similar to beaver teeth. They they go against each other, and that sharpens the teeth and they because they fight all the time, sometimes they break off. What I don't remember correctly is if they grow again, if they grow back like shark teeth, um, or they're continually growing. But they do, like you see, you can notice here. Let's see if I can get close. You see the shape of the teeth there? Oh, that yeah. uh, what did I do? That's new. I can do that. What did I do? This. Oh, that's awesome. I've been using this for years, and this is the first time I actually use that. Hmm. Cool to see. Okay. So yeah, the teeth hits the top teeth and it cuts against each other, which keeps it like razor sharp. You can see them fight each other when they're super aggressive. Which team? Football team? Like, now I live in Argentina, so I guess uh, my country, of course, and Argentina. Um, but yeah, I don't. I'm not like a huge football fan. I have a bunch of biases against organized sports. They call it uh, people's opium, and that's for a reason. But you would have to look into that if you want to. Come on. I didn't notice before, but this hippo looks like it's gasping. Like, oh my god. Did she really say that? Oh god. How dare she? Or how dare he? Whatever. Kind of funny. A little bit of a silly thing there. Alright. This is getting. Come on. Like, this one has. The other one. I go back to this. This, if you want a pen that could get you through an illustration, get one of this. Let's see if it's not dried out. There's something in the design of the tip that works better for like softer work, if it makes sense. It's harder to be subtle with this one for whatever reason. There's something on the tip design, I think. Yeah, I have to get more of this. These are big pens. I was working on a printing place when I. Thank you, appreciate it. Uh, I was working on a printing place when I got here uh, for quite some time, really, and and to take orders from customers, we use like a regular pen. So there is where I got used to using this specific type of pen. But yeah, it's really reliable for this stuff. The other ones, like you can see, I just went through this three, and they're not that great. They're good for writing, but they're not good for this sort of thing. I'm really using a tool that is not meant for this, but yeah, for me it works just fine. So on my free time or between customers and such, I would I would draw different things, whatever random idea I had. The gasping hippo. Oh my god! How dare they? The gasping hippo. Okay, let's check that. There you go. Okay. Bum, 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 bum. So, as I mentioned, I decided to stream from 9:30 to it goes for around an hour, and now it's gonna be hello. Um, yeah, consider it. What was I saying? I forgot. Now it's gonna be Monday through Thursday. I missed Monday this week, so to amend for it, I decided to stream today, even though I wasn't that prone to, but I was like, why not, man? Just go ahead and do the stream. Doesn't hurt. Bum 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 bum. Alright. I guess I could get into the details on the skin. I don't know. I don't know if I want to. I don't know if you've seen Fantasia. Disney Fantasia. But if you haven't and you're into animation, you should definitely see it. I wish they would have continued with that. It was supposed to be, I think it was year to year, but then Walt Disney died, if I don't, if I'm not mistaken. So they did the original Fantasia, and then they did the 2000 Fantasia. That's really interesting. And they have on that film, on the, I think it's on the 2001, they showcase the the one that Dali made. Was really weird. I think they mention it. I don't know if they actually went through with it, but they showed the idea for it or something. But yeah, it was Dali was supposed to make one of the shorts for Fantasia. Or Dali. I don't know in English how you pronounce Dali. In Spanish it's Dali. Salvador Dali. Actually, it's all gray, which is kind of fun about this creature. Dolly? Dolly? So you pronounce it Dolly? Or you mean the Spanish version? Dali? And the one, I think my favorite for the 2001 in English is Dolly. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. The more you know. Um, well, I would say my favorite for from the 2001 is Rhapsody in Blue. Yeah, if you haven't checked that clip, I think I'm pretty sure it's on YouTube. Bum 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 bum. Yeah. also like the saliva here. I'm guessing it's saliva. It could be water, but it's really funny. Like I'm guessing that if you're that close to that to a hippo, it's game over. It really is. I don't know the statistics. I haven't checked. Like they're the most lethal of the macrofauna or megafauna in Africa. It's like they run really fast and they're super aggressive. So yeah, they're bad news if you encounter them. Yeah, mosquitoes checks out. Like mosquitoes, I think worldwide mosquitoes are really lethal. I was at some point I was mentioning to my wife that mosquitoes are so effective of being a plague that they cause one of the largest migrations every year uh, in the world. Um, I don't remember if it's I'm going to say it's a deer or it's not it's a reindeer elk, maybe it's elk, uh, Alaskan elk or something. But the largest migration every year happens because mosquitoes just make them like, okay, we need to leave this forsaken land. So they have to move to a place where mosquitoes aren't, which is fascinating. The largest movement of mammals in the world is caused by the one of the smallest creatures, a really small creature. One of my fun facts. Fun fact of the day. I don't know if you all watching have heard of Cox and Grandor, but they're really funny. I've heard their podcasts and I've been listening to their videos for a long time. Uh, yeah, they help cheer out about stuff with their silliness. Yeah. So yeah, who? Um, well, you can easily find them. They're way more famous than me. It's Jesse Cox and Wow Grandor if you look them up on YouTube. And they have a silly podcast that they have. It's Cox and Grandor in the morning. It's really funny because this is gonna go a little bit on a tangent. I learned about them because they on I think it's on Jesse Cox channel. They have a they made a bunch of videos, animated videos, uh, I think it's the sound is from their podcast they've been doing for quite some time. Uh, but the first animations I saw were them talking about. It's basically a clip about news from Florida. So they the whole clip is about Florida man. So the part that is funny is that they made it into a character. So Florida man is like this weird guy without a shirt, kind of dressed up like a lucha libre type fellow, or like a wrestler, Mexican wrestler with a mask and a cape, and that's Florida man. So they they made these clips. That was when I was studying animation, if I remember correctly. Uh, so it's them talking about the news about Florida man goes out and does this whatever random thing they're talking about, and they're it's the animation is them talking and cutting to what actually happened on the on the news or what they thought happened. It's really funny. I find it really funny. It's kind of on the absurd spectrum of comedy, but or there's gonna be people that are gonna find them silly, but to me they're super funny. And yeah, uh, I think they help the world with their silliness. Oh, and to the comeback, the circling back to all that is that the I don't know, like a few months ago or something, I was watching something. I don't know if it's on Max or yeah, it's probably on Max, HBO Max. Uh, I was looking for a show, and then all of a sudden I see one that says Florida Man. So because I listened, like my first thought was, oh, that reminds me of Cox and Crender. So anyway, I didn't think too much about it. I keep moving along, and then a few days or couple months ago, I think Jesse Cox mentions it on the podcast that they apparently a bunch of people started reaching out to them because because they were actually featured within the Florida Man show on HBO. Uh, so I think I would say that the credit about who started with that trend, even though that whole Florida Man thing has been going on for years. I would credit the actual like turning it into some type of show. I would credit it to them. So I don't know. It's something there to listen to that might be funnier than me or potentially more entertaining than me. But yeah, I find them really funny. Yeah, you should check it out when you have the chance. I'll kind of freak out if they reach out. Oh, we saw your video. Oh my god, I would be a little bit embarrassed, but at the same time, yeah, I think they do cool stuff, and I appreciate the approach they have towards social media because they've been doing it for really a long time, and they They just do what they want to be doing, and they're doing like their own thing, which is, I think it's admirable. I would probably think otherwise of what I'm saying, but yeah, certainly uh, an honorable way to live by your own terms, I think. Yeah, I'm still thinking about Florida man. Oh my god. I know they I don't know if they mentioned it anymore, but I was even thinking of making a t-shirt for them. They have an illustrator that, or somebody that does the art for their stuff. But I was listening to a podcast from them. It was really funny because they were talking about a bunch of cases of bears getting into houses and eating their food, people's food and stuff. Apparently, there's a that was quite some time ago. There was a bear, a specific bear that was uh, like the main part of the story because it was constantly that bear getting into houses. So they before they were able to actually identify it and categorize it and all that, it started to go around. It was called Hank the Tank. So uh, I found it kind of funny and silly. So I thought of making like a T-shirt of Hank the Tank, which turned out to be a female bear because it was like really large. Uh, they thought it was like a male, but it was a female bear. I think they had to relocate it. Hopefully, it's fine, and they didn't do anything to a creature. I think it was in California, but I could be wrong about that. So I'm pretty sure if you look up Hank the Tank on the internet, you're gonna find a bunch of information about what I just said. So yeah, Hank the Tank. Uh, yeah, hopefully that's what they did. I would be sad. Thank you, thank you, Team Pam. Gracias. Uh, I would be sad if they marked the poor bear. It would be awesome if they relocated it to a reservoir or something. Hippopotamus. Hippopotamus. The gasp on this creature is really funny. Bum 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 bum. Red, red, red. I'm trying to see. I think this area should be darker. Really think so. It does. Hmm. I don't know what to tell you. I do have certain filters, but I didn't mention anything specifically. It was like no curse words or that sort of thing, just to be cautious. And but I don't know. Maybe the freaking thing doesn't work properly. Uh, I set it up that way because I don't have a moderator, so I have to do it myself. And right now it's a few people, but if it grows in the amount of people that joins, it's harder to monitor certain things. So that's why I decided to. Oh, but that one went through. Yeah, that one. That's why I say marked or off instead of that word specifically because it's yeah, one of those that gets, yeah, that one went through too. But yeah, it there's certain words that it's better not to get into with the algorithms. If you pay attention to videos on TikTok and a bunch of other platforms, they're careful about the words they use because you don't know if whatever you say is gonna get used against you. So that's why they use like unalive or that sort of thing, because that way you can talk about it without some form of algorithm jumping and blocking your video. I don't know. It's a weird time. It's definitely a weird time. Hmm. It's a little bit, I don't know, that area of the skin, it's a little bit weird. Freaks me out a little bit. So maybe something about it triggers that. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I've also heard like if they get too, in Spanish we say cebo, like if they get too hooked on human food, and uh, like it's really hard for them to be relocated, then they decide to do that sort of thing. Which I'm like, dude, leave those creatures alone. Like, unless they actually do something. Like there's a really famous case about, like the poor animal was on an enclosure already. Uh, the gorilla, it's a really famous case of a gorilla that a kid fell inside the enclosure, and yeah, they decided to unalive the poor gorilla that wasn't doing anything. Like the parents are responsible in that situation. Uh, yeah, that that sort of thing is like, dude, we need to be better about those things. We really do. So, for example, here there was a like a zoo, a really famous zoo. Oh, that I think that was in Chicago or something. That was in the, I think it was in the U.S. But that was like in the 90s. 90s? Yeah, yeah, well, most probably the 90s. If not the 80s, but it was quite some time ago. So probably right now they wouldn't, like, the backlash would be so gigantic that you couldn't get away with that. Uh, for a zoo to end an animal like that, it's horrendous. Uh, but what I was saying is that here in Buenos Aires there was a zoo, or kind of, yeah, it was a zoo, and now it's sort of like a reserve, ecological reserve of sorts. Uh, if it makes sense, the animals they move them to other places, or they look to release them. Some you cannot do that. So there's like giraffes, for example, that you cannot return them to the wild, or it would be too complicated to to move them to a different enclosure. So they're still there and they have their space. So basically, they did the best they could to like discontinue the zoo. But what I'm trying to get to is that here there's a place. I don't know if if they have animals from the zoo I'm talking about, but there's like a natural reserve where they have like lions and all these different creatures, and the the person who is in charge, or the guy who is in charge, I saw a video about him mentioning that he considers that, or they consider that nobody should be like nobody can go to that place. Like he puts out videos, I guess, to uh, educate the public and so on. I don't know. Hopefully, he monetizes that and uses it for taking care of the animals. But says that like nobody should be having those types of animals anywhere. So in that those specific cases, those are animals that are uh, you cannot get them back to the wild because they're already adults, and you basically have to take care of them because they couldn't be able to survive in the wild, most likely. Um, so yeah, it's a whole ethical subject. What was I getting to? Hmm, I lost my train of thought. I was talking about the gorilla that got murked, which is super sad, but that happened. Oh, I remember something of I remember something about the hippos. There's if you wanna listen to something interesting, I'm pretty sure there's or they were making a documentary about it, or it already came out. I think it's already online. So basically, in Colombia, there was this. I'm pretty sure a bunch of people have seen this. A couple, like a guy that you know, one of this couple, a mafia couple in Colombia. Uh, Pablo Escobar. So yeah, that name should ring a bunch of bells because they made a bunch of series about him. But well, he had hippos there, and those hippos are still there, and it's like a whole ecological thing because they're, I don't know, they're like three different generations of hippos in Colombia, and they've been reproducing because they don't have like, you don't have anything that's gonna hunt that thing in the jungles of Colombia. So it's like a whole thing, and they've been working with people to take them back to Africa, I think, and to reservoirs, but it's like a whole thing. You have to get them used to places in order to be able to trap them, and you're talking about creatures that are like, I don't know, I think they're like 5 tons. I'm gonna look that up. Uh, So I said 5 tons. Hmm. My memory is not that bad. 1.6 male adults, 1.6 to 4.5 kilograms, and the females at a whopping 1.3 to 1.5. So they're considerably smaller than the males. But yeah, imagine a bunch of those having fun in the Colombian lands. Yeah. What time am I at? 1:14. Let's see if I can get through this a little bit more. So I just do the last part for tomorrow or something. I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, there's a bunch of hippos there eating coffee. Mm, you mean humans? No. As far as I know, no. But you like they had to put out a bunch of signs, and people learn that you have to stay away from them, and it's dangerous because it's the same animal. It's just in a particularly different environment. No, I don't think so. But who knows? Like, imagine like isn't it wild that a dude that like he had more money than the entire GDP for the country. Like that country GDP, he had more money than the entire country uh, for years and years and years. So actually, there's this anecdote about him that apparently, and I could be wrong, and yeah, I could be wrong. Allegedly, at one point, because they had these haciendas, the dude, I think they were on the hacienda, and he was with his daughter at the time, and his daughter was cold, so he's like started burning money to warm themselves because they were, I don't know where they were. I was like, dude, that should tell you everything you need to know. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they threw what you're talking about to the hippos. Yeah, actually, there've been like 3 or 4 series about that, and I haven't. I don't think I've seen any of them. I started watching one and I was like, this is too off-putting for me. So I didn't. I prefer not to watch those type of things. Like the interesting part I for me is that there's hippos in Colombia now, but other than that, yeah, I I don't particularly like glorifying those people that work on that line of work, even though there's thousands of series and movies and so on about the subject, some of which are interesting, but like for example, I guess you could say like Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. They're really good series. At the same time, is it good as a society we're creating those shows? And I don't know. So I think about those things. So we're usually fascinated by subjects that are like really out there, I guess. I'm not gonna be able to get subsurface scattering on this. No way. But at least I'll separate that a little bit. At least not by doing a 2 hour drawing. Oh, and I just remember something. This is another fun fact. Uh, could be. Uh, I don't know if you know or if you saw the news about this, but you remember that I was talking about uh, artificial intelligence and quantum computing yesterday. Well, today I saw some news on the interwebs about apparently Microsoft revealed a new quantum computing chip, microchip, and apparently they also figure out a way to create a new state of matter. So they create a new state of matter that they can use. So yeah, if that doesn't tell you that it's getting a little bit scary, well, I guess it's also interesting, but scary. Yeah, you can look it up. I had my doubts because I think I remember them talking about it. Maybe they unveiled, they showed a different version maybe a year ago or something. But I could be, I don't know, could be a deja vu situation for me. But yeah, I remember talking about it yesterday. I was watching the news today. I was like, oh my god, that's a little bit freaky. At the same time, what I do like about it is that I would happily connect that to, like, if you work with 3D or rendering processing power and time, processing power, it takes forever unless you have like a render farm, in which case you need a bunch of computers that are really powerful or dedicated computers just for rendering. If you're able to get your hands on a quantum computer or a quantum chip and it's actually usable for the public and you can plug that into a rendering machine, oh my god, that must be so much fun. Because a lot of the limitation around it for the public, like you cannot making a 4K film, you're limited by the fact that good luck rendering that. You're gonna get, I don't know, maybe now there's more computers that can do that, and with AI it's gonna get a little bit better, but still you're limited by the actual hardware that you have. Unless, I guess now AI, you send it so it's cloud based. Yeah, I don't want to get into the AI nonsense. I don't like it, but I would like to have that computing power to render stuff that I make. That'd be fun. So basically, you can create your own films or your own short films way faster. It must be like super expensive though. I mean, just imagine their their eyes when they figure out that they could do that, like the eyes going to the dollar sign. Ka-ching! Yeah, we're gonna cash out so much money out of this. You have no idea. And the other thing is, as far as I understand it, good luck trying to encrypt anything after that, because that thing can compute in like a quantum computer can do what it would take, as I understand it, a bunch of regular computers 100 years or a couple years. You could do it in a few seconds. I don't know, maybe. Yeah, because they use gold plating, right, for certain things. But if you're able to make it small enough, maybe you don't need that much. I don't know. Like the other part of the thing is, if you're gonna make it for the public, you need to make it cost effective. Like the governments of the world can pay millions for one of those things, but the public, if you're gonna retail sell that thing, you make you have to make it like a pocket version of that type of thing, like a raspberry version of it. Like, okay, this doesn't do all the computations in a split second. It does it in a second. I don't know, but it still is like 1,000 times faster than what any computer can do right now. I, I still think that maybe we're in the clear still, because I don't know if they can make it stable enough for it to not fail, but that could change. Oh, mm, actually, actually, apparently, another thing I heard today is that they're thinking that they're gonna have a version of it by, I think it's 2026, if I'm not mistaken, or by the end of this year, by the end of 2025, they're gonna have a version that fails a little bit, but they hope to have like a version that doesn't fail at all. or way less by end of 2026. So I don't know. That that's real science fiction right there. I've been hearing about quantum computing for years and years and years, and to be that close to it, like I just want to see what it can do. That I don't care about like what the visual models can do right now. I don't care about that. I find it interesting. It's like a fun party trick sort of thing, I guess, and it's useful for what I was saying yesterday, like a junior writer uh, type thing. But I'm really curious about this quantum computing stuff because there's so many computations that it can probably do way faster. So probability, for example, you can get so many things out of a computer that can calculate that fast. Rendering, as I was mentioning, you can do renders way faster. You can create materials, or at least that's what I understood. Like you could figure out ways of developing materials way faster. And yeah, they even think that it might be possible to communicate to other dimensions or something. Like there's so many possibilities of things that we don't know about that technology. So I'm curious about that specific thing. We're also so flawed about the stuff we do, so hopefully we don't mess it up. Still trying to be optimistic about it. Yeah, not the best. Not the best. Gonna make it way more subtle, but a hippo. Okay. All right. I'm way past my hour. Yeah. I guess I'll see you all Monday. If you're watching this in the future, thank you for watching. I got my face stained. Um, Consider subscribing, hitting that like, hitting that bell, and all that good stuff. It helps me a bunch. It's completely free for you. And yeah, if you want to check out my work, you can see it on my website. I have my deck of cards that you can buy from there, or all my products on Redbubble if you want to check that out with my illustrations. And yeah, I hope to see you next time. Thank you all for being here. This time I don't have music, so I guess I'll just end the stream. So until next time, bye.